Rev up your engines!
Bernie Warona says, Scotty, what do you think of the new Rav4? I have to tell you, everybody, a lot of people say, oh, Scotty, Toyota pays you money to talk about it. No, they don't. Well, the new Rav4, it's not as good as the old Rav4. I have had problems. I've gotten later model Rav4s, and they have had problems that cars didn't have in the past unless they had 300,000 or 400,000 miles on them. The quality has definitely gone down somewhat. I've seen it. They're still good vehicles, but I mean, it's kind of annoying. One of my customers has one. It's 2 years old, 2.5, 3 years old. The electric power door locks broke on it. It shouldn't break on a Toyota. At that small period of time, it shouldn't break like that. Their quality isn't what it used to be. And most of the manufacturers, tell you the truth, aren't. They're all kind of going downhill in quality to some extent, especially with the use of more plastic parts, more electronics, and more computer-controlled stuff. They find out they can make them cheaper, and then when they get older, they either spend a lot of money getting it fixed or they buy another car. So they're not as well made as they used to be. I've got to say that about the Rav4s. Al-Mashabi says, why do cars lose coolant but they're not leaking anywhere? There's only two things that can do that. If your radiator cap is leaking, it will leak steam, which won't drip, and it'll lose coolant. So change the radiator cap. They don't cost much, right? But unfortunately, most of the time when they lose coolant, but it doesn't leak anywhere, the car is burning it because the head gasket's starting to blow. Realize that you got the block, then you have the head gasket, then you have the head with the valve that's bolted on. The head gasket seals compression from the engine cylinders, seals the oil galleys that lubricate the head, and also seal the coolant that cool the head. If the coolant parts of the gasket starting to break down, then coolant will leak from inside the cooling tubes of the engine and then go inside the cylinders and be burned up. You won't see it, but it'll burn up, and that's how you lose the coolant. Pray it's a radiator cap. It's a lot cheaper fix. Corey says, Scotty, I have a Pontiac G6 GT. My remote start triggers the panic alarm. Any fixes? Here's the thing about remote start systems. I hate them. They're extremely complex. I had a customer one time brought me an aftermarket kit and said, will you hook this up to my car? And I looked at it, I looked at the directions, and I said, there's no way I'm hooking this up to your car. There's so many wires that have to be spliced in correctly, and one mistake, it can ruin the computer of the car. It can make so it has starting problems when you use the key. They are absolute rat's nests to get into. Yours obviously has a problem. It's turning the panic alarm on now when you use it. My advice would be, if it's an aftermarket one, go to whoever installed it and see if they can figure it out. Odds are they can't because they just bought it in a box and put it in. If it's a factory one, take it to the dealer and see what they say. Do what I tell people, just don't use the system anymore. They break down when they get older. That's a Pontiac, that's a GM product, which are notorious for having electrical problems in the first place. And when you add that complex system on it, it's only going to create problems as it ages. I've had customers with those systems that call me up and say, oh, my car won't start now. And I'll say, well, you got your remote starting system? Said, yeah, and it's been acting up lately. And now it won't even start with a key. And I say, I told you not to put that stuff on in the first place. So, I mean, if you do want it fixed, you're going to have to find somebody who works on those. Hardly anybody does, especially if it's an aftermarket system. But like I say, if it's a factory system, take it to the dealer and see what they say. Alpha Omega says, I had the ball points changed on my vehicle. Now it's squealing. Help. That means that it's no longer correctly aligned. Tires have to be aligned correctly for each design of a car so they corner correctly and also go straight when you're going straight. Now you might think, well, that's simple. You just align the wheels so they're pointed perfectly straight, but no, that's not how it goes. All of them are off to one angle or another to compensate for the design of the car and how it corners and the type of tires they have on it. It's very complex stuff. You change the ball joints, not squealing. That means that now your alignment is off. Somebody put on cheaply made ball joints that weren't the right size, and now the tires are sitting at the wrong angle. Or when the work was done, the guy knocked the alignment out. Maybe he took off the tie rods and now they have to be readjusted because he didn't put them on exactly the same as they were before. Or he bent something while he was doing that work. But when your tires are no longer aligned correctly, they will squeal because they're like an eraser. They're now not rolling right, and they're rubbing rubber off while you're going, and that's where you hear the squealing from. I see that all the time on people that do badmanship. Like I've had customers go to another mechanic and they'll say, I did this, and now they're squealing. I'll look at it and say, well, your alignment's off. They should have told you it needed an alignment. And if they didn't know, I'd say go to a different mechanic. They don't know what they're doing. Have the alignment checked first.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.